Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Just getting myself warmed up here. Let's see what we got going on. Oh my goodness, look who we have joining us. Geez. Superstars from Zija. Mr. Crane, welcome. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out what month this is. Are you still on Big Island, Mike? Probably, huh? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Saturday morning training for new distributors. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm an independent distributor with Zija International, and today I get to be the trainer. I'm excited to meet you. It's kind of a small office, so I don't know how we're going to get everybody in here, but we'll kind of have to get real cozy, right? Let's see here. We're going to get, let's see. Good morning from Park County, Alberta. Lorna Ray, welcome to you. Always good to see you. And let's see, we'll get warmed up here in just a minute. Let's make sure that we got things recorded. Let's see. Oh, Clinton Sides, good to see you, sir. Welcome. Debbie Balmert. We do have some of the who's who. Doug Stoup. Actually, very excited. Doug is going to join me here in a few minutes for our Q&A portion of today's training. And let's see where we got. Michael, welcome from Sacramento. I'm certainly not going to be able to. Oh my goodness, I've got Pat Christensen with us. Pat, so good to see you. Let's see here. Got Yolanda. Welcome, Yolanda. Yolanda's in the other room. And let's see here. Tom Cox. You know, I got to figure out who you are, Tom, because I used to have an old high school friend named Tom Cox. And if you're him, welcome, glad you're here, and we will not talk about anything that happened in high school, okay? Just saying. All right, Kevin, good to see you. Lori, good to see you. Let's see, oh, I got Reed Yvonne with us. Wow. All right. Pardon me, I'm just trying to get myself collected here. I've been on 2 other meetings this morning, and so we're going to see if anybody's telling me good morning, good morning. Oh, well, thank you, Lauren. And Michael, good morning. All right, very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to get started. Appreciate you allowing me to kind of, get myself organized. You were listening to a little musical prelude. What I didn't do is I didn't let you see me dancing, getting all psyched up and ready to go. Saturday morning new distributor training. This is actually something that I was exposed to about 33 years ago, maybe even 34 years ago. I'll have to do the math. When I first got involved in this profession of network marketing, some of you have heard the story. Okay, I used to be a cross-country truck driver. Loved driving trucks. It was, frankly, well, I've done many, many, many things. As I was, as a young adult, pretty much you name it, I did it. The only job that I really was able to hold that made me some decent money was driving trucks, because I love that. And even at that, no truck driver, well, the union guys keep a job forever. But at that point in my life, there were changes in my personal life. I had my older son was hitting school age, was in need of some specialized educational resources the school district wasn't going to provide. And I had to make a decision, because if I was going to fulfill my commitments to this child that was given to me, to do everything I could as a parent to enable him to become everything that he could be, I was going to have 2 things that a truck driver couldn't provide. I was going to have a substantially above average income so I could pay for the educational resources my son needed. I was also going to need to have time freedom, flexibility in my day-to-day schedule to be with him. That was going to be a critical element in the success of my son's future. And network marketing was the only place a guy like me could go to receive a six-figure income and have time freedom, flexibility in my day-to-day schedule. And it fulfilled, this profession is fulfilled on every single one of those promises. I mean, I was literally able in 10 years to retire. I created an income in that 10-year period of time that would have taken, you know, probably 60, 70, 80 years as a truck driver to earn. I compressed decades into 1 decade in terms of earnings. And then the other trick was I didn't spend all the money. Try and tell all the young folks, you know, just don't spend all the money. You know, that's one of the major keys. And I was able to then do things that most people only dream about. I retired 20 years earlier than the average fella, you know, considers retirement age. Do a lot of things that people dream about. You know, at one point in my life, I was able to, you know, spend 6 years not working to raise my my first grandson. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I moved home to take care of my elderly mother, not being dependent upon an income. And that's when I was introduced to ZGen. And so this concept of new distributor training was something I was introduced to in the very first company back in the mid-'80s. And what I learned from that were the foundational elements of what it takes to create success in this type of business model. And make no mistake about it, okay? This business model, network marketing, it is one of the most unique, elegant, efficient distribution models that's ever existed. Unfortunately, unlike everything else out there, for some reason, people believe they already know how to do this. Okay, I mean, I want you to think about this for a minute. If you know, let's say your doctor said, "Hey, your child needs brain surgery," you wouldn't say, "Okay, well, that seems simple enough. You know, I got the basics. You know, give me a good sharp knife and some bandages, and I'll go do brain surgery on them." No, you wouldn't do that. You know that a brain surgeon's going to spend decades in school and years of experience before you're going to let them do brain surgery, right? You know, for whatever reason, people think that this type of profession doesn't require that level of knowledge and experience. And the fact of the matter is that you don't have to spend decades to learn this, but you do need to learn certain things. So as I'm looking at the list of people here, let me just go ahead and do, wow, you guys have really filled up this room fast. There's a lot of people that have joined us. There's a number of people who joined us that are already seasoned professionals. Some of you are familiar with Doug Stoup. You know, Doug is a 7-figure income earner in this industry. Doug has been in this industry for many, many years. I mean, you know, Doug has forgotten more about network marketing than most people will ever learn. Okay, well, that's great for him. But I look at the list, I see others of you that are relatively new to the organization, starting to build teams and that sort of thing. And many of you that I don't even recognize your name, which means to me you're brand new people. So whether you've been around for a while or whether maybe this is your first chance to be part of a new distributor training, let me share 2 things with you. Number one, this is not the beginning brand new distributor first training, okay? What we use Saturday for today is a vehicle to give you additional training. So I encourage you to go to my YouTube channel. It's www.youtube.com/Fred Holmes ZGen. So youtube.com/Fred Holmes ZGen. Subscribe to the channel. That way you're notified whenever there's a new training or presentation that's posted. But in that channel, when you get there, look for the link that says playlists. Okay, there's only one playlist. That playlist is new distributor training. Okay, I've spent some time sharing the things that I learned very early on in the profession. You'll find 4 videos. The first one is called New Distributor Training. It's about 30 minutes long. It is the Saturday morning new distributor training. It is designed to teach you what it is that we do and how we do it. And so I'm going to encourage you, you know, you're welcome. I mean, if you haven't seen it, you're welcome to be here. I want you to learn what we're going to share with you today. But go there and get that foundation underneath your belt. there are three additional, in that playlist, three additional little 10-minute videos that combined become the Fast Start training. How to create your story, how to develop a prospect list and a 90-day game plan. And you will learn by just spend that 60 minutes. Give yourself an opportunity to have a foundation to launch your Zija business, especially for those of you that have never been involved in network marketing. Give yourself that opportunity. And with that, what you will learn once you've spent that 60 minutes, what you'll learn is that this is not a business that one can learn from watching a video, sitting in a presentation. It is a business that you learn from doing. And you're very fortunate if you've been invited here this morning, or maybe you've been sent to the recording, the replay. You're very fortunate in that there is somebody that is part of your upline organization that has experience, tenure, a story, who is here to work with you. And I encourage you to do what I did. Reach out to the people that have the capacity to teach you how to do this and work with them. The greatest advantage I had when I first started in this profession is my sponsor, my first sponsor, first company, was already $1 million earner, and I got to learn how to do this, not by trial and error, not by hoping and guessing, but by following somebody who knew what to do. So, encourage you to get that underneath your belt. Now, today, I want to cover three things. I'm gonna do this relatively briefly because I want to be able to then bring in, my business partner and my friend Doug Stoup, and we want to field some questions. Honestly, the greatest value to this morning is not just going to be the information I'm going to give you, which what I'm going to share with you is going to be really good. Okay, I got to tell you that. Okay, it's going to be really good stuff. But the greatest value for you is going to be the getting questions answered that are specific to you, your circumstances, your situation, your personality, what have you. And for those of you that maybe don't have a question, being able to hear the responses to the questions of others. That is really going to, it's the meat and potatoes, the hands-on. So let me cover a couple things real quick. Hope you got your journal. I encourage, folks, this is fundamental. Every single highly successful person in network marketing has many of these. Okay, many of these that they've accumulated over the years of information, knowledge, training, what have you, that they've received that they then go back to impart to others. And let me double check real quick on the chat, just to make sure we're all good, doing good. Plug in tools for success. Okay, we're good. All right, now, three things I want to talk about. Number one, timing. Write this in your notes. Timing. Timing is critical. And I want to discuss three elements of timing that are going to be really important to you. Number one is company timing. See, a lot of people don't understand this. And it's what separates the, highly successful distributors, the 1%ers, okay, from everybody else, is we understand timing. Now, three elements of timing. Number one is the company. I've heard so many times people say, oh man, I wish I could have been with you guys back in the beginning. Folks, that is the worst time to join a company. And for 99% of the companies that, frankly, they don't make it past the 5-year mark. Okay, that's one of the biggest reasons why you don't want to join a company in the beginning, because most of them don't last. Okay, when I joined Zija, they'd only been in business about 2 years or so, maybe a little bit longer. Real small company. We were in leased office spaces. We had third parties doing the actual manufacturing of our products under our supervision, but other people, we didn't control that part of the equation. We had one product. We had an antiquated compensation plan. It wasn't a bad compensation plan. It was just old. And I was very clear, okay, because this is my third successful network marketing venture. I was already a 7-figure earner before Zija. So I knew better. All right. I knew that it was the wrong time to join the company. Now, I'm not saying that it was the wrong time in terms of the company. Okay. The company, the biggest reason I was here is because of the Ken Brailsford story. To be part of a man whose track record is nothing but success in his profession, to be part of his third company, well, destined to be the largest venture he's ever been involved in. I mean, that was a dream come true. What I understood was the first years of this company were going to be incredibly difficult, incredibly, growing pains and all kinds of challenges. But I knew that. And folks, I bought into that. Okay. I knew that the amount of time and energy I would put into Zija for, say, the first 10 years, the amount of return I would get for that investment was going to be very small versus had I joined later when the infrastructure, the platform of the company was much more developed. But I did it anyway, even though I knew it was going to be hard, because I wanted to be part of this company. Now, timing with the company. A lot of people think that, maybe being part of a mature company, a company that's already at a, billion, $2 billion, $3 billion a year is a great timing. That is true. Okay. There's a number of companies out there, and I'll tell you what they are. Okay. If you're looking for a company that is stable, is going to be around 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that you don't have to worry about that. Look at the billion-dollar-a-year companies, Amway, Mary Kay, Herbalife, let's see, Melaleuca, they're $2 billion a year. New Skin, they're $4 billion a year. I mean, those are rock solid, stable companies. Okay, here's the challenge with that, is there is very little room for growth. So what's the sweet spot in terms of timing for a company? Look for a company that is already established, that has developed the culture, the leadership, both in the field and in the corporate side of the company, infrastructure, profitable, and here's the sweet spot. Get in before the masses. Get in before the masses. Typically, that's somewhere between 100 and $200 million a year in sales. That's an infant company. Zija International represents that sweet spot today. Okay, they are that sweet spot. We control everything. I mean, we look like a company that's been around for decades doing a few billion a year, but we're a real small percentage of that. This is the sweet spot. And one of the things that I learned very early on in this career of network marketing is some fundamental basic concepts, truisms. One of them is you can judge the future from the past. You can very, very often very accurately judge the future from the past. So, example, Ken Brailsford, only man in history that's created 2 successful multi-decade, multi-billion-dollar companies in this profession. Nobody's ever done that. What is the likelihood that he'll be able to do that a third time? Okay, you can judge the future from the past. In the industry of network marketing, the most successful distributors are not the ones that started with a company in the beginning, because most of them never stayed with that company. That company went away. It's not the people that joined companies when they were already $1, $2, $3 billion a year. They were the people that got in before the masses and rode to the $1 billion, $2 billion a year. Okay, these are the critical things in timing of a company. There's other things that you want to look at in terms of timing. Timing in the calendar. Jim Rohn does an excellent, excellent description of this. If you haven't gotten the CD or seen it on YouTube, go look for Jim Rohn, that's R-O-H-N, and his 1 hour presentation on how to build your network marketing distributorship. And he talks about seasons of the year. It's in the spring that farmers plant. Okay, it's in the spring. During the summer, they nurture their fields. They tend their fields. They put a lot of energy into that. It's in the fall that they harvest. And what happens in the fall is based upon correct activities, planting in the spring, nurturing in the summer, so that you can have a harvest in the fall. Now, what do you do during the winter? You prepare for the next season, okay? And if you've done spring, summer, and fall correctly, winters are beautiful. Let me tell you what happens if you don't do those things. Winters are cold and terrible, okay? Seasons of the calendar, and we're going to talk about this a little bit during our question and answer session. Where are we at right now? This is the spring in the calendar, but it also is the time within the multi-level calendar to be planting the seeds in the summer, nurturing what you've planted, and in the fall, reaping the benefits of harvest. And then finally, there's timing of self. And in this particular situation, I want to share this with you. There is never the perfect time to start changing your life. All right? There's only now. Too many people I've seen fail to capitalize on opportunities because, well, I'm busy, or, you know, the kids are in school, or the kids are out of school at summer, or, you know, I've got this challenge in my marriage, or this is happening in my work situation. Let me tell you about timing. If you're looking for the perfect time to get started, it will never happen. And if you ever do get the perfect timing, where everything in the family is going well, everything in your finances is going well, everything in your life is going well, everything is going perfect, there is no need to change. Okay, let me tell you one other thing about personal timing. I guarantee you, if you haven't had challenges in life yet, they're going to happen, and the only thing I can tell you is you will either be prepared to weather the storm or you won't. Some of you are familiar, you know, that are more actively engaged with me. Last year, the last 18 months have been a major challenge, you know, with my mom. But because I prepared in advance, I was able to weather the storm, because anything that required, you know, this, I had the ability to do it. Checkbook. Oh, some of you don't know what checkbooks are? Oh, checkbooks. it's money that you write with paper. Sorry about that. So, personal timing. Now, let's talk about personal accountability. All right, personal accountability, second topic of this morning. This is critical. For you to be able to accomplish great and wonderful things, you have to hold yourself personally accountable. This is one of the biggest challenges we have in our country, and while I know there's a number of you from other countries that are here this morning, I'm going to be specific to our country, but it actually applies to pretty much most Western societies today. We are in a point in time where people refuse to hold themselves accountable. It's the government's problem, or the economy, or my employer, you know, the weather, you know, whatever, okay? Personal accountability, personal responsibility is the only way you will be able to achieve anything above mediocrity, okay? And it's sad because so many people are willing to give up a beautiful life in exchange for the security of mediocrity, yet they don't understand they're always going to be held responsible or accountable to the seasons of life. All right? Tell me how secure your future is if your boss fires you. Okay? Tell me how secure your future is in a natural disaster where your business is, you know, is destroyed from a hurricane, you can't work, or your home, or what have you. See, it's only personal accountability. I'm going to give you 3 areas of personal accountability. Number 1 is your daily method of operation. And we talk about this in other trainings. You can go through the YouTube channel and review that. But a daily method of operation, that is what you do to build your Zija business. The only person that will hold you accountable for that is yourself. Your personal development. Second issue, you are accountable for your development. Folks, trust me when I tell you that 33, maybe 34 years ago, I was a truck driver. I am not a truck driver today. Okay, I could drive a truck today. Everything that was about me then, I could still do. Okay, and the fact is, because of Zeja's products, I weigh what I did in my early 30s, actually mid 20s. I'm stronger. Okay, I'm better looking now too. You can just kind of trust me on that one. Little less hair, but hey, you know, it's still there, most of it. But the fact is that this concept of personal development, while I can still do and be the person I was 30 years ago, I am no longer that person. Okay, I hear people all the time. They go, Fred, slow down. I want to write down what you said. Communication is a critical element of success in anything. I have spent hours and hours and hours, countless. I've spent more time in personal development than the average doctor spends in medical school. I've spent a lot of money in personal development, because back then you had to jump on an airplane and fly to go see the person that you needed to hear from. Okay, attend the seminar, buy the books, buy the tapes. In today's world, so much of that's available free online. Now, you are responsible for your personal development. Do not for one second think that the level of personal development that got me to making, you know, $30,000–$35,000 a year as a truck driver was the same level of personal development that got me to make, well, and I don't want to really actually say in case you're, you know, with the IRS, but lots of money over the years. Okay, lots and lots of money. It wasn't the same level of personal development. We are personally accountable for personal development. And the last thing is your choices. Folks, you can choose in this country. Okay, we are free to choose, at least for now. Okay, I'm not going to talk politics. People are saying that the state of California wants us to secede from the union. That's okay. In a few years, I'm going to move to Hawaii. But you are responsible for your personal choices. Do not let the government tell you what to eat, how to eat, where to eat. You make those choices if you want to create a life that most people dream about. Last thing I want to talk about, then I'm going to bring Doug in. Momentum. And this is probably one of the most important topics for this morning. Momentum. Momentum is a concept that when you're in momentum, it just seems like everything's working. You can't go wrong. You're moving forward. It's almost like magical. It's almost like effortless. We understand the concept of momentum in sports. You know, when the underdog team, all of a sudden they have a few good plays, the players are energized, they start to get momentum. It's almost like they can't do anything wrong, and the underdog beats the top seeded team. I gave an illustration here, I believe it was last Saturday's training, about momentum when I drove a truck. I used to have an example. One truck I had what's called a transmission called a 4 and 5. It's essentially 20 gears, and it took, you know, most of those gears simply to get the truck moving. I could go through 5 gears just to get up to 10 miles an hour, go through another 5 gears to get up to 25 or 30, another 5 gears to get up to 40 or 45 miles an hour. I'd go through 3/4 of the gears just to get up to a modest speed. But once I developed that momentum, that inertia, it only took a few gears to then get it to a higher level and sustain it at that level. That's the concept of momentum. Every successful network marketer understands this. There are 3 stages of momentum. The first one is the establishment of momentum. What do you have to do to establish your momentum in our type of business? It's the 3 things we do. You need to share our product, you need to share our opportunity, and you need to teach others how to do the same. And it is only you that is going to be held accountable for that. It is your personal responsibility to be able to do that. You have to be the one that does it. Your upline can't do it for you. Your downline can't do it for you. You are being held personally accountable for establishing momentum. Daily method of operation. Did you talk to somebody today about our products? Did you talk to somebody today about our opportunity? And did you help somebody in your team, once they're there, do the same? Sustaining momentum, second level of momentum. How do you sustain? Once you've got momentum, you want to stay there. You want to keep the growth going. You want to keep the wins coming in. How do you sustain momentum? Same thing. Share the product, share the opportunity, teach others to do the same. Now, the last stage of momentum is advancing momentum. How do you take the growth that you've received, the growth you've got, and then move it to the next level? Interesting. Same three things. Share the product, share the opportunity, teach others to do the same. And I'm going to give an illustration of those three stages of momentum, because it mirrors exactly what I did and what happened in the first 3 years of my Zija business. In the first year, starting at ground zero, working right here from home, and we didn't have anything compared to what we've got today. I had to share the product, share the opportunity, and when people joined my business, teach them how to do the same thing. And I did it consistently on a daily basis. Every single day I was sharing the product, sharing the opportunity, teaching others to do the same. Now, lest you think that that meant I was working 60, 80, 100 hours a week, I've never done that. Okay, this has always been a part-time business. I do it from home around the schedule of caring for my elderly mother. What I have focused on is only doing correct activities and being very structured or consistent with my daily method of operation. If today I made a decision I would talk to 2 new people about my product, I scheduled that time the night before, and then I followed through on the commitment. How long does it take to talk to somebody about our product? 10, 15 minutes a person, 30 minutes a day. Okay, but I was very consistent about the scheduling of my daily method of operation. In that first year, I did that day after day after day after day. It took a tremendous amount of time to create a small percentage of momentum. And by the end of the year, I'd created what most people call a full-time income. I'll call it, a modest full-time income. Okay, it was not, earth-shattering. I wasn't an overnight success in Zija. But think about it. How many people would like to have a full-time check from a part-time home-based business? Truck driver wages. Now, second year, I needed to sustain that momentum. I needed to have the little fledgling organization I'd started with continue to grow, continue to duplicate. I stayed consistent on a daily basis, doing correct activities, daily method of operation, and focusing on the basics, sharing the product, sharing the opportunity, teaching others to do the same. That second year in Zija, my 1099 for that second year was 5 times the first year. There's a lot of people go, wow, that's amazing, you got so lucky. No, I didn't get lucky at all. I was blessed to have some of the people come into my organization. I was blessed to have had the opportunity to learn this years before. But if you're figuring this out, none of this is brain surgery. This isn't rocket scientists. We're not, nuclear physicists. This is an inevitable result of a daily method of operation, focusing on correct activities and being consistent over a prolonged period of time. That second year put me well into a 6-figure income. And for most people, they would have arrived. That was the destination. And I'm not saying that isn't great. What I'm saying is in network marketing, because this profession has so much unlimited potential, being a six-figure income earner, that ain't that, I mean, you're not top, you're not first string, you're not a starter, okay? The third year, I did something most people don't do. That third year, I continued in that final step, which was to advance momentum. Establish momentum, sustain it so it continues to grow, and then I did one more year to advance my momentum. Now, what did I do to do that? I added one little thing in there. I shared the product, I shared the opportunity, I taught others to do the same, and within that organization, I identified leadership. And the leaders were the ones that I focused on helping them develop their leadership skill set. Now, the only reason I was able to do that, folks, is because I'd spent so many years in personal development, focusing on personal accountability, something I tried to teach my children, my sons, early on in life. You can't teach something you don't know. How do you learn it? Do it. Then you can teach it. In that third year, because I continued that daily method of operation, that third year's income was literally more than double the first 2 years combined. And it has gone well beyond that with very little effort on my part. Now, I don't share that with you for you to be impressed with me, because quite frankly, you should not be impressed with me. Okay, I'm not that impressive. I am a natural result of many years of focusing on correct activities, correct principles, following the leadership of others who've gone before me, not being distracted by the latest, greatest, shiny object. Okay, write this in your notes, folks. Consistency of effort and persistency of effort overcomes all obstacles. And does it take time? Of course it takes time. All right, but I'm going to tell you something. I shared this with a gentleman just the other day. New gentleman coming in underneath Ernest in Chicago. Okay, no matter what, 3 years from now is going to be 3 years from now. I mean, good Lord willing, we're all still here, right? 3 years from now is going to be 3 years from now. What's the difference between what you have today and what you're going to have 3 years from now is what you do in the interim. What do you do today? What do you do this week, this month, this year, next year, the year after? I made a decision a number of years ago to do something one more time, and I got to tell you, it wasn't an immediate decision, because I know what it takes to build a network marketing business. But I made a decision 10 years ago that I was going to do it one more time with Siege, and it's been the greatest thing in the world. And it's not because of the financial blessings. Don't get me wrong, money's nice. Love my car. Okay, I like flying first class. I found a new undisclosed island location that I will live in my retirement. Okay, like all of that. But the greatest value to that commitment to put in 36 months to the Zija business has been all of you. Every single one of, the people that I recognize on this list, it has been to provide and offer to you an opportunity to achieve whatever goals and aspirations that you have. That has been the greatest blessing of this business. So this is what I wanted to share this morning. I hope you were able to get some notes. I hope this has been of value to you. I would hate to think that you spent the last 30 minutes with me and it wasn't of any value. And I also hope that you've been writing down your questions. I'm going to invite Doug Stoup. Where are you, Doug? There you are. I'm going to invite Doug Stoup to come over to this side of the webinar broadcast with me. For those of you that haven't met Doug, let me just do a quick, just unmuted you, Doug. I'm going to do a quick introduction. Doug and Amy Stoup are two of the most recognized distributors in Zija. They've built one of the most successful organizations. They're black diamonds in the company. This opportunity, I can say, and Doug, you can correct me if I'm wrong, has changed their lives. Okay, and they have been the fulfillment of the Zija promise And Doug, appreciate you being with me today. It's always great to have a partner like you partnering with me. I'm going to go ahead and go over here to the chat window. And Doug was very gracious to offer to spend some time with us. I'm a firm believer that I only know what I know. One of the greatest things I've ever done is to realize everybody else knows more. And so I invited Doug. I said, Doug, come help me here with the question and answers. So let's see, folks, let's do this. I'm going to read through this, but if you've got a question, something that's happened here this morning, or maybe from, this past week, post it in the little chat window. There's a little bubble, like a cartoon bubble, whatever that is, and you're writing your question here. And Doug, maybe you can tell the folks a little bit about your story, the nickel version of story, but for people that, haven't had a chance to meet you.
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you great.
All right. Absolutely. Yeah. Fred, it's always just a blessing and honor for me to be part of this. You've been such a big help to me and Amy and our organization over the years. So thank you. We're having fun building our business and locking arms with you. It's just been extremely powerful. It's a great opportunity for all of us. I was actually introduced to, I just call it the health and wellness industry, this network marketing, moving products, to other people. I was introduced to this when I was 19 years old. And now, hopefully I don't look like it, but I'm 53. And so it's been 34 years. I like to tell people that nutrition works. That's why I look so young, right? It's been 34 years that I've had just a wonderful privilege and opportunity to help as many people as I can improve their health and their wealth. Our health is our wealth, right? If you don't have your health, you don't have much. You can't really do a lot. So, and I've had times in my life, Fred, as you and a lot of people on this call know, where I've had difficulties with health challenges, and yet the Moringa has helped me to overcome and to fight back. And I'm a fighter. I'm an overcomer. I think most of us on this call and in this industry would consider ourselves that. Whatever difficulty life throws at us, we find ways to overcome that. And we're fighters. We're positive thinkers. We're professional listeners and always looking to give back and to help other people. So Fred, that's what we're doing. That's why we're here. We consider it a blessing to be a part of not only the industry as a whole, but specific to Zija, and even more specific to your organization, to be, again, be partners, business partners in this with you. And so we're here today to answer questions, to give back to people, to help encourage them, edify them, help them make a decision to do something, right? And to move forward in growing their businesses and, helping other people improve health and finances. So that's why we're here.
Appreciate you, Doug, and thank you for the kind words. I am the one that is blessed to have people like you and so many others to be part of this. And that's something I recognized very early on in Zija. This was an endeavor that was destined, much beyond me, because it is nothing but, truly supernatural, the people that have found their way into this organization. Blessed to have you and Amy. Now, got a couple quick questions here. One comes from Andrea Longo, and it's really a great question, Doug. And since you were already part of a different network marketing company when you were introduced to Zija, I'm going to let you start with this one. Andrea said, or asked, is it worth it to talk to people that are in other network marketing companies? Let you respond to that, and then I'll take a shot at it.
You know what, I never try to, pull somebody away from the company that they're a part of. Even though I know in my heart of hearts, Zija is the best company out there today with the best everything, leadership, integrity, products, comp plan, all those things that Zija has going for us. So I know that there are, and maybe it's just because of our level of leadership that we've achieved here. I know I get contacted from other people, whether they're friends or acquaintances or not. I get contacted from other people that are simply asking me, would I be interested in taking a look at their company? And I tell them I'm not recruitable, but thanks for calling. But I don't have I don't see that there's a problem if these are, and it looks like specifically the question is people that she knows that work for other companies. I think there's nothing wrong with simply asking them, are they open to looking at her opportunity? All they can say is no, but most of the time they're very pleasant. And I will tell you this, I have had the good results I actually had a guy call me and try to get me to come over to his company. And when I told him I'm not recruitable, he said, well, what do you got going on? And so then I recruited him into Zija. So he wasn't really happy with what he was doing. And so you never know where you're going to find that person. So yeah, I think it's worth the time to just simply ask them. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that.
You know, and that is excellent, Doug. And I want to add maybe 2 cents to that. The advantage of talking to people that you know that are in network marketing is you already know that these are people that meet the criteria.
Yeah.
People that are looking for something more than what they have, what the average person has. They understand the concept. They're willing to do a little bit extra. I mean, one of the things, I mean, if you just do some simple research, nobody in this country makes, $200,000, $300,000 a year working a 40-hour week job working for the county. Okay, they're willing to do their day job and a little bit more. Now, it's a double-sided sword. That just because they're in network marketing doesn't mean they understand what it is to do, how to do this at the levels of, the $1 million earners. So you're going to have to make sure that if they get involved with you, that you get them into correct training. But personally, I like people. It's kind of like, if I was an owner of a trucking company, who would I go after for drivers? People that didn't know how to drive a stick transmission? For guys that had already driven trucks. I'm going to go find guys that already know how to drive trucks, or at least somebody that knows how to, shift gears, with a, 3 on the tree. Doug, I know you know that one. 3 on the tree, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, great question, Andrea. And, reach out to Doug or me if we want to do a little bit more on that. Had another question from Lauren. Wanted to address new enrollee. What do you do with a brand new person just getting started? First steps, riding the less. She's on the call, very keen to go diamond. Doug, I'm gonna put you on the spot again. What
Sure.
do you? This is from Lauren's. And can you please address new enrollee first steps, writing lists of contacts, developing her own personal story. I'll put you on. I'll let you do the heavy lifting, and then I'll fill in.
Absolutely. I'm glad to help there as well. Yeah, these are all great questions. So for the brand new person, I mean, she hit the nail on the head with the first thing is writing that list. If you don't have a list of people to contact, then you're probably kind of stuck in the mud right there out of the gate because you don't know who to call, you don't know who to talk to. So you need to go ahead and write that list. There's lots of memory joggers, as we call them, that can just help you to think about. And to think about people that you, go to church with, or people that you frequent at the post office, or you see at the store, you happen to go there at the same time. It's people that you see at the gas station. It doesn't really matter who it is. Always be adding to that list of people. You can look in the phone book. You can look at categories. Who do I know that's this, a plumber, electrician, or whatever it may be. And somebody will pop to your mind and you add them to your list. So yeah, that's the very first step. And I'm going to say the next would be, you want to make sure that you understand our system specific, because these are new enrollees specific to Zija. You want to make sure that they understand and that this new person understands the simplicity of our system. You're going to hear it repeated over and over like this: simple, duplicatable system. The reason we say it that way is because it is those things. People say, well, what do I do next? Okay, you plug into this system. It is simple. It is duplicatable. And Fred, as you've said so many times, if you do that over and over and over and over again, you will be successful. So the invitation, presentation, validation, or the other way to say that, peak, pass, plug, it's paramount to what we do. And those that do that over and over and over will be successful. The third thing that I just want to say to that, and I'll be done with this, is developing your own personal story. We all probably heard of David Moses, you know, great, one of the top trainers, income earners, all that throughout the industry, not just within Zija, but throughout the whole industry. And he likes to talk a lot, and very rightfully so, about our story. People love to hear stories. And so when we write out and develop our own story, then that's what we do. We simply share our story. And it's not making any guarantees. It's not putting out anything that's illegal to say, you know, in this industry. We're just stating the facts. This is personal. This is my story. Let's, you know, and we're telling other people our story. So if we become very good at sharing our own story and do that over and over and over again, I mean, that's all part of the invitation part of the system, right? So those are the things that I think are extremely important and just paramount for the foundation of a new enrollee.
That was excellent. I really can't add anything to that, Doug, other than maybe say, if you build your prospect list correctly, and there is one of those videos in that playlist that I recommended you go to on how to create a prospect list the way the professionals do. Okay, be real clear on this. For most people, the most successful people that will make your Zija business thrive aren't people that you know today. All right, we start with personal contacts, that first level of familiarity, people that we know well, family members. We start with them so we can practice. Okay, I even heard Jim Rome say this. Hey, listen, I don't even care if you join. I just need to, I get 1 out of 10. You can be one of the 9.
That's right.
Right. But because we're family, you're my friend. I mean, you'll do me the favor of at least listening. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Most of the people that are that first level association, they're not the ones you're looking for anyway. Too many people think about, well, let's see, I'm going to go to Bob. He owes me money. I'm going to go to Mary Lou. I had to give her money to feed the kids last week. I'm going to, all these people need this. Don't look for people that need this. Look for people that want this. Yeah. Remember, we're not talking about the 80%ers here. We're talking about that smaller group of people that want more. But most of the people that you personally know really aren't the ones you're looking for. The second level of association, what Doug was saying, okay, your auto mechanic, your chiropractor, your, whatever, okay, that second level of association, they tend to be better because they tend to be more entrepreneurial. But be real clear on this. If you learn how to do this and then teach it to others, here's what ends up happening. You get Doug Stoup in your business. I did not know Doug and Amy Stoup before they joined Zija. I had a fellow that and I didn't know Mike. Mike introduced, Amy and then Doug to this. I didn't know Mike before Zija. I mean, Doug, if I had to look, I'd say you're probably 14, 15 levels down in my organization. But
yeah.
Doug and Amy have become a significant part of my organization. And be very clear on this. If I was to take, several dozen top-ranked people in my organization that have made, the income by creating the customer base, I have probably personally enrolled 2 of my top income earners. That's it, 2. So excellent response, Doug. Let's keep on going here. And one last thing I need to say to this, folks, because this is an open program, we're not limiting this information, this broadcast, to just our organizations. Some of you are part of other leaders, and you have tremendous leadership in your upline organization. This is free for you to use. If you benefit from it, fine. But I encourage you to be tied into your upline leadership. They may have different nuances or what have you. This is such a simple business. There's so many different approaches to it. I encourage you to plug into your upline leader. Okay, just use this as augmentation if you want. Let's see here. just
Hey, Fred, while you're looking at that, I'm just going to say this. It's not who you know, it's who they know. And that's one of those phrases, just to simplify what we just said, it's normally not who you know, it's who they know, right? So you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. And that's the beauty of this whole network marketing industry, is that you can have people that you don't even know, never have met them until they came into your organization, and they end up being rock stars, and it's just awesome. The other thing to say, especially to that new person, is don't take no personally, because if you do, you're gonna
lose.
You're gonna quit, quickly. Well, I talked to this, Joe and Mary and Bob, and they all said no. I guess it doesn't work for me, and then you just, you don't know where to go next. So don't take no personally. Every no leads you closer to the next yes.
And also, don't be discouraged if somebody doesn't think this makes sense to them, unless your dream car is what they drive. Okay? Yeah. Don't be discouraged if somebody says, oh, that's not network marketing, is it? Don't let that discourage you unless their home is your dream home. Where they went on vacation was your dream. See, understand, mediocre minds don't get this a lot of times. Okay, the most successful people out there get network marketing. We'll do a couple quick ones and then we'll shut it down. Michael Spackman asked, because he's focused on the 90-day game plan. That's one of the little 10-minute videos on how to create the fast start story. The 90-day game plan, how many people should a new person talk to on a daily basis for a 90-day game plan? Michael, the concept is the 90-day game plan. What you do today, you don't get the results of today. You may see them tomorrow. What you do this week, you don't get the results of this week. You're probably not going to see them till next week. What you do this month, you won't see it till next month. It really doesn't make any difference. I would rather see somebody talk to one person a day about the product and one person a day about the opportunity, and do that for 90 days. Do it consistently. Don't skip a beat. They will create, through the compounding effect, they're going to create a tremendous amount of momentum in their business. They're going to create a great fast start story, much better than the guy that talks to 10 people today and then doesn't follow up on them tomorrow, doesn't put them into third-party validation calls the next day. The number is not the issue. Okay, if you can talk to one, talk to one. If you can talk to two, talk to two. But remember, if you talk to one today, you follow up tomorrow, third-party validation call. If you're doing 10 of those a day, imagine how much you've got work you got to do 10 days from now. Okay, this isn't a business of just recruiting. It's also a business of developing others. Doug, we got this is the last one we'll handle, and we'll shut it down for today. And this also comes from Lauren, brand new gal. What does she do about her story when she's brand new? What does she do about sharing her story when she's brand new?
I'd say use somebody else's story initially, because there's a lot of great stories out there. They have already had the experience. They've already been down the road a little bit longer than you have since you're brand new. So go ahead and use their story. And you can easily open a conversation with somebody. And I always like to say, professional listening is going to open a lot of conversations to people everywhere we go. This is not just a business. This is a lifestyle, right? So we're always listening and looking for somebody that we can help with health and finances. But you've got people in your organization, maybe even your sponsor of the new person, who has already been down a little bit further, a little bit longer, more experience, has already developed a story. So go ahead and use their story, and that's easy. Hey, well, you need to talk to my, whoever it is, and well, this is what happened to them, and just tell them, because our stories will change. And I can just keep that short and sweet. You can use someone else's story until you've developed your own story. But now remember, our stories change. My story has changed now since I've been here at Zija since July of 2009. things have changed. Timing, the seasons, life, things have changed, right? With our success, as well as some health challenges I've dealt with, a lot I've heard of. My story has changed. And so your story is going to also change. So yeah, use other people's stories until you can develop your own, and make sure that you do change your story as it changes.
Now, I want to tell you something here. Thank you, Doug. I want to tell you something, and I'm not using this to brag about me, okay? But Doug's response was exactly what I was going to say, okay? And I want to point out in that little new distributor training, the little 30-minute, foundational one, I talk about, what do? We share, how do you sell the product? Share the stories, yours and others. How do you, develop a new distributor? Share the opportunity, share the stories, yours and others. Okay. And when I pose that question to Doug, what's he come up with? Use somebody else's story. All right. Now, understand. Well, no, these are pretty new people here. I came up with that. I made that up. I didn't make that up, folks. Nothing I say or do was something that I created. It's just I was fortunate enough early on to learn from some of the brightest minds and most experienced people as mentors in this industry, and we're just sharing the stuff we learned. Now, be real clear on this. Your story is what you develop. If you've started using the product, folks, use the product, be consistent. But you can have a story within a day or a week. I've been on the product a week and I've already lost a pound but an inch around my waist. I started using the Limitless, and within 15 minutes I felt mental clarity, a lack of fatigue. You can have a 15-minute product story. Now, magic comes in building the business story. Go out and sell, one customer. Recruit one family that uses the family pack, the enhanced kit. Okay, go get 2 customers, and here's your story. Just last week, I got 2 people became my customers. One family decided to use the family pack. I made $108.13 last week. It's my first week. Don't for one second think that that's not a good story, folks. I guarantee you 80% of the people that you will talk to will want to know more, because an extra $100 a week is an extra $5,000 a year. And who do you know wouldn't have? I mean, if you wouldn't have liked to have an extra $5,000 last year, then write a check to me, because I would have liked the extra $5,000. Okay.
That's right.
All right. Hey, Doug, we're a couple of minutes past our allotted time. Thank you, my friend, for joining me today. It's always such a pleasure to have you. And frankly, it's great to have you back, because I know there's been a period of time there that you've kind of been in recruit mode. But absolutely a pleasure to have you with me, and excited about what's going to be happening here in the future. And Doug, I'll say goodbye. I'm going to do a couple of quick program notes. Thank you for being here, buddy.
Thank you, Fred. Enjoyed it. Always a pleasure.
All right, and folks, you could tell Doug really loves doing this. You can just tell by the look on his face. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. A couple quick program notes. Monday, Millionaires in Training. This is episode 2 from David Moses. Go to Facebook. He'll do a Facebook Live. It's Facebook at David Moses OTW. David Moses OTW. OTW stands for One Team Worldwide. Friend him, like him, get signed up for the notifications. 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday night. This will be module number 2 of David's 8-week course, the ZG University. Wednesday evening, Pat Anderson is going to do a special product focus webinar. That's going to be, the way to get to that is go to her website, her team website. It's www.clubmoringa.com, clubmoringa.com. Again, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Thursday night, I'll be doing the Biz Talks presentation, and I forgot to look to see who my guest is, but I'm So I don't know, but they're there. And that's Thursday night. It's 1 hour early, 5:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. And then Saturday morning, this coming, I'm going to have a special guest speaker with me for new distributor training. Don't forget to plug into that one. With that, thanks so much. Appreciate your questions. Doug Stoup, thank you for joining me tonight or today and making my job easy. We're done. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.